Do you know what zasichna line is? I bet you don't. I, myself, just learned this morning. Zasichna line, zasichna черта in Russian, is a term used for a defensive fortification. And that's quite a fortification, you know, that's quite a structure. It's basically, it consists of, it's fairly high-tech stuff, okay? It consists of a trench, a very long trench. Usually it's fills with water, naturally. And the trench is about 6-7 feet deep. And on the side where it's supposed to be, you know, defended, the trees are cut and they fall on the ground and they're crisscrossed. They fall on top of one another. And their tops of the trees, they aim direction where the enemy is supposed to be coming from. So enemies, when they come to the zasichna черта, they find unpassable fortification, черта. Well, that is actually was very, very commonly used fortification defense method in Russia about 400 years ago. Back then, the transportation was horse, and the armies consisted of horsemen with daggers and sabers. How zasichna черта worked in the past, that's a big question. But in Russia, it definitely was used against the enemies coming from neighboring countries. Well, zasichna черта is back with quite a bang. Belgorod region, Belgorod province of Russia, borders Ukraine. It's Kharkov province. I've been to both places numerous times. I actually crossed the border on foot from Ukraine to Belgorod and vice versa. And zasichna черта is being built in Belgorod, near the border of Russia and Ukraine. It's official. The governor of Belgorod province announced, and the works are in execution. I myself have seen the pictures. He officially announced that zasichna черта is being built there and will be built. And they have started. They're digging trenches, they're putting trees on top of one another. Welcome to 2022, Russia. My friends, if you started laughing, please stop. Because this is not a laughing matter. It's a part of the plan, the secret plan. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where I am giving you updates, news, and recent events unfolding in Russia. Give you my takes, my views. Thank you very much for coming, giving me a chance. Pleasure to see you here. And I'm going to be telling you about the secret plan. It's finally revealed, and at the end of the stream, you will learn what is the plan of Russia. Well, obviously, Russia is led by Vladimir Putin, so that's his plan that we've been told so many times about, and we haven't been told what the plan is, but I'm going to tell you today. Without further ado, let's jump right into the plan. Now, February 24th, 2022, the unthinkable happens. Russia starts attacking Ukraine. Russia presses the button, the rockets started flying, people getting killed, bloodshed, you know. Vladimir Putin comes out and publicly admits that he's the one who made the decision. He's the one responsible, therefore he bears responsibility for anything. We remember that. Scott actually very brave because he's taken huge responsibility and he certainly is going to answer for that. So that was a very brave act. So the unthinkable happens, and we all are in quite a shock. And the first question that we, all of us Russians, ask, I myself and all people around me, well, there are two versions of this question. One is real time, real life, and another was a kind of version, polite way. What the fudge? Or we were saying, why? Why all of this? Why? What the heck is going on? What the fudge is going on? Well, we were told, listen, you don't know much. We do. Ukraine has become a threat. It has so many Nazis and it's so militarized that it needs to be denazified and demilitarized. And you don't know everything, but trust us. Have faith in us. Because there is the plan. Oh, the big mysterious plan. Well, when they say, what is the plan? They get back to us saying, can't tell you. It's secret. Well, I understand. Obviously, if you attack another country, if you invade another country, you got to have a plan. Not having a plan and attacking is a complete madness. So there must have been a plan. And I understand, of course, it's military conflict. Rockets fly, tanks are rolling on Ukrainian soil. Russian soldiers are there doing whatever they're doing. I don't know. Of course they can't tell us. Of course it's secret. Doesn't matter that we are the taxpayers and we are paying for this plan out of our own pockets, paying taxes. Yeah, but you know what? Of course, we know, it's secret. Okay. Then, for the past 9 months, we've been hearing this, I don't know how many times, at least 100 times. Everything's going according to the plan. And this is how everything has gone. I'll remind you, if in case you've forgotten. First of all, Russian troops reached Kiev surroundings very fast. Also, they took Kherson right a week after invading Ukraine. And Vladimir Putin told us about the same time that Russia was not about grabbing land of Ukraine. No, just in and out, denazifying, demilitarizing, that's it. Keep NATO away, okay? Making Ukraine great again. No land grabbing, of course not. Russians, we never land grab, Then the fight for Kiev, the battle for Kiev started. And everything was going according to the plan. And we were told so proudly, we heard it like proud people from Russian Ministry of Defense are saying, everything is going according to the plan. Then something happened 4 weeks after. And at the end of March, military command announced that Russian army was leaving Kiev province. What? What the fudge? What? Why? You invaded Ukraine with the purpose to denazify. Well, how do you denazify if you don't take its capital and don't topple the government? You can't denazify a country. Don't go, don't leave, Left. This is when we started asking questions angrily. And we were given the same question. You don't know everything. Everything is going according to the plan. Just trust us. Okay, of course, impeccable reputation. Why don't we trust you? We kept on trusting. Then another thing kind of happened that really was really strange. Our commander-in-chief, who designed the plan, he made the decision, or at least he approved the plan, he knew of the plan, and he told us that Russia was not to land grab, and all of a sudden, Russian flag is on top of the city hall in Kherson. Wait a second. That's like land grab? Well, you just told us we would never do that. Then on top of that, in May, top Russian politicians come to Kherson and publicly claim that Russia has come to Kherson and there to stay forever, for good. Kherson would never be left behind. They start putting ruble into operation. They kick out hryvnia, which is Ukrainian currency, and that's ruble all of a sudden, you know? What the fudge? Everything is going according to the plan. Okay. Then all of a sudden, Western companies started leaving Russia. What the fudge? Don't you worry, they told us. Don't you worry, it's okay. Let them go. They're no good anyway. They're just selling us poison, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. We're going to replace them with Russian cola, with Tasty Period, with our companies. The market is clearing out of filth. It's going to be replaced by the Russian companies. That's very patriotic. Our economy is going to become stronger. Trust us. A lot of people trusted. Okay. Then all of a sudden, sanctions hit Russia real hard. Ooh, what the fudge? Don't you worry. That's good. The economy is going to be stronger because we're going to adopt and rely upon ourselves. Enough of relying upon other countries, foreigners, you know, us. Us is the center now. We're going to survive. We're just going to become stronger. Everything is going according to the plan. Trust us. And we trust it. What's next? Well, strange things have started happening in summertime, like that thing in Severodonetsk. And again, they were telling us everything is going according to the plan. Trust us. And a lot of people kept on trusting. Then a really, really big, strange thing happened that was really kind of hard to explain by the plan. That was, of course, Kharkov retreat. Well, not retreat, pardon me, regrouping. Russian army, all of a sudden, out of the blue, on a turn of a dime, regrouped and regrouped from Kharkov province into different places. And it was a silent question in all of us. And I think you know what the question is. And then we were told again, don't you worry. Our goal is to defend people of Donetsk and Luhansk republics. And that's what we're concentrating. But wait a second. What about denazification, demilitarization? Just get out of here. Just get out of here. So, okay. We regrouped to defend people of Donetsk and Luhansk. Okie dokie. Next thing happened. The mobilization. Mobilization. Folks, it's you sitting and listening or watching to me right now. It's easy for you, but to us, to Russians, it was very strange because our president, Vladimir Putin himself, on March, I believe it was either March 8th or 9th, he was meeting a group of women and at one of the companies in Russia, and he clearly said, for the entire country heard that, he said, there will never be mobilization because all goals of Russia and Ukraine will be achieved with help of professional army only. So no conscripts in Ukraine, no mobilization. 6 months later, mobilization is announced. He was the one announcing it, okay? And our question was, well, what the fudge is not doesn't cut it anymore, you know? And again, we said, don't you worry. There is the plan. Everything is going is going according to the plan. We're gonna lose the battle, but we're gonna win, you know what. A lot of people kept on trusting. Well, we were told to trust. There's a plan. And then another unthinkable thing happened. Russia annexed, well, how do I say that right? There are two models. The entire world is looking at Russia and sees that Russia annexed 4 provinces of Ukraine and made it its own. Used to be Ukrainian, became Russian, annexation. Ukraine obviously didn't agree on give up its lands. In Russia, they're saying, oh, it's those lands joined Russia. It's joining, grand joining, so to speak. But wait a second. Back in March, our commander-in-chief said Russia would never land grab. Would never do that. Would never grab land of Ukraine. On September 30th, he's the one signing all the paperwork. And there's a huge celebration. And everything is according... And then finally they're telling us, you see, we've been telling you, everything is going according to the plan. Rejoice. The plan. This is it. This is what we've been aiming at. Russia has grown by 4 provinces. Well, great places. And if anyone would like to take those lands away from us, oh, we're going to strike back. They're going to regret they were born. Because Russia is going to, give the mightiest response. Entire Russia, all the whole country. And I think that at that time, people who had been trusting, they finally had some kind of a break. Because before, it was just a matter of trust. Something really terrible happens, but they tell us, oh, everything's going according to the plan. And then, okay, well, at least it can be explained now. But then, 5 weeks later, Sergei Shoigu, the Minister of Defense of Russian Federation, ordered Russian troops to leave Kherson behind. Just 5 weeks before, everyone was saying, "Oh, Kherson is with Russia forever. Russia will never leave Kherson. Russia will give the mightiest response to anyone attempting to take Kherson." And then 5 weeks later, without much of a, in Russia we say pompa, I don't know, without much of a information eruption, because it's a big deal, right? Russia is leaving part of its land behind, according to the Russian government. They left, and then Ukrainian troops moved in. They regained Kherson, okay? And what did they tell us? Don't you worry. Everything is going according to the plan. Woo! That kind of the last straw on the back of the camel, If anyone, after what happened in Kherson, believes that everything is going to the plan, well, good luck to him or her. Let me tell you something. I'll just give you some of the results of this plan. Everything's been going according to the plan. So the results are this. Ukraine has become a real threat to Russia. Real threat. Folks, it's not hypothetical anymore. The governor of Belgorod region ordered to start building zasichna cherta. A fortification was used 400 years ago. Imagine how terrified this guy is. He doesn't trust that anyone would come and help him. He orders his local inhabitants of this province come and start building fortification of 1600s. Okay? He understands Ukraine has become real threat. Ukraine is coming. Before, brothers and sisters, before I went to Ukraine, I spent a year there. I never felt like I was in a different country. People fantastic, spoke Russian, Russian culture. Um, brothers and sisters, really. But after the implementation of the plan, they have become a threat. They ditch in Russian language. They start speaking solely Ukrainian. They don't want to do anything with Russia anymore. They ditch in Russian culture. They're making laws forbidding everything Russian and so forth. Wow. For good reason, by the way. Second, thousands, tens, perhaps thousands, hundreds of thousands of people died. Soldiers, Russian soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, civilians. For what? This is the ultimate price that we've paid for the plan. Anyway, that's the result, one of the results of the plan. Number 3, Russian economy is destroyed. It's facing the worst crisis ever happened to it, ever, in the history of the country, in the history of 1,000 years. What's coming is worse than what happened around World War II. A terrible thing happened, but Russia had support of the entire world. And now Russia is against the entire world. So what's going to hit us is going to be, well, let's put it this way. That's existential economic crisis that's coming up. Number 4, NATO expanded. Before NATO was friendly, it never considered Russia as threat number 1. It was focusing on China, and it wasn't going to expand to Ukraine. And now Finland and Sweden are 2 new members of NATO, and Finland, and they have they're both countries are neighbors of Russia, and there's so many thousands of kilometers of land borders that now NATO expanded too. Nice plan. Number 5, Russia is the most sanctioned country in the history of humankind. North Korea, child's play. Iran, forget about Iran. Russia. Number 6, image of the country Russia has been shattered. And I don't even know for how long. Probably not right to say forever, but perhaps for 100 years. Couple 100 years, I don't know, 70 years. That's like many lifetimes for us. Number 7, Russia has been kicked out of all areas of international life, international community. Sports, culture, science, business, travel, you name it. Russia's been just brutally kicked out. Like a drunk in the bar who got drunk and started, picking up fights with everyone. Number 8, Russia will pay for Ukraine's reconstruction, restoration, and after it's going to be paying repatriation for decades to come. Is that a nice plan, don't you think? Russia has become a pariah. Number 9. No one wants to shake hands with Russians. Russian politicians, Russian business people, even in many countries with regular Russian folks. Number 10. Many lives of Russians have been, well, I should say that about Ukrainians. Many lives of Ukrainians have been destroyed. People have fled their countries. People's homes were destroyed. People were forced to move. People were just living normal life, and then this happened. And many millions of Russians also will be suffering. Many Russians will, well, have lost their loved ones. I think you know better than I do how many. In Russia, the latest number I heard is 5,900. You know, what can I say? Truth will come out one day. And children will be growing up without fathers. Mothers and fathers will be without sons. Wives will be without husbands. Same goes to Ukraine, and to Russia. Lots of people, millions of people will be living with post-traumatic disorder syndrome, and over 1 million of people have left Russia, most likely for good, just like myself. If you think it's not a tragedy, it is. And what kind of plan is that, huh? And the last one, plain and simple. Millions of people's lives, both in Russia and Ukraine, have been destroyed. Now, this is quite a plan. There are two options. If there was such a plan in reality, then imagine what kind of a person it would take to design, to create this plan, to engineer this plan. A person would have to hate Russia's guts, to despise this country, okay? To bring so much disaster to Russia, to put it on its knees for generations. You'd have to hate Russia, to do something like that. And I don't believe that Vladimir Putin is capable of doing that. I don't believe that any of his advisors or people who are helping, advising or whatever, consiglieres or government people or KGB people, I don't believe that they're capable of hating Russia so much to create this plan. It is very obvious to me that we have been lied to for the past 9 months, and it is very obvious there is no plan. It is very obvious that the king has no clothes. And I can't wait until my fellow Russians will wake up and start asking questions, and will understand that they have been lied to and there is no plan. Thank you so very much. This has been my message for today. I hope you found it interesting. Not the easiest message to come up with and deliver, but I'd like to hear your opinions. What do you think? You agree with me or disagree? Perhaps you think there's a plan and someone sinister created it. Tell me who. Because I can't imagine the magnitude of evil of such a person. I think there is no plan. I think this is going day by day. Thank you so much again.